Hi, this is Steve Rybrook from LedgeView Partners with a brief video explaining a gap to goal feature in our CRM for oil and gas distribution. So let's jump right into quick preliminary stuff here. So what even is gap to goal? So gap to goal is simply the difference between the goal that you set and what might actually happen. So it's a measurement. It's an accumulation of a lot of different numbers to just kind of tell you where you're at as far as hitting your goal is going. So why is it important? Gap to goal can let you know if you're on track or not. As managers, you can use it as a great coaching tool. And as an organization and as an individual, it can help you determine where you should be focusing your efforts. So before I jump into the demo, just one last quick slide here. If you're kind of like what you see with this gap to goal feature, want to learn a little bit more about that or a little bit more about our oil and gas CRM product, feel free to reach out to Gene. With that in mind, I'm just going to flip over to a gap to goal screen, and I think I'll use the little highlighter here to kind of go through this. So the first thing I want to do is kind of explain what we're looking at here at a high level. So what the system allows you to do is run this gap to goal analysis on just about any combination of data that you care about. So what I could do is I could say, hey, how's my overall company doing as far as gap to goal goes? In this particular example, I actually broke it down by a department, and I'm actually saying, how is my lubricants department doing on their gap versus their goal? So how are we doing? Are we on track or aren't we on track? I could also run this analysis for a particular salesperson. So I could just get this down to an individual level, and I could even get it down to an individual level at the department level. So how's, let's say, Steve doing on hitting his lubricant goal? Or how is Steve doing on hitting his fuel goal? So really a lot of different combinations, department, salesperson, combinations, how's my company doing? So in this case, I'm looking at lubricants. Another little brief explanation, these numbers right here in the center are all analyzing your volume. The numbers over here on the right are all analyzing your gross profit. So the calculations are exactly the same, they just use different numbers. So just to make it simple, I'll just stick right here in the middle and we'll talk about volume. So let's go through as kind of quick as I can, explain these calculations. So what are we doing here? First of all, again, we're just looking at overall lubricants. How are we doing? And the first number is kind of important, is how much volume have we received so far today, up through year to date through today. So this is telling me that we've got about 506,000 gallons of lubricants business so far this year. So that actually tells me we have a prerequisite here. One thing that's really important is to be able to tie a CRM into your back office, your accounting system, so we can get at this data. So that's one of the things that our system does already. Another thing that you'll find that's important is to have an accurate pipeline. And then obviously to do gap to goal analysis, you need to set goals. So let's just continue on with the process then. So far we know how you're doing so far this year. We also look back at the last 12 months and we figure out how many gallons do you sell each day, right? And then I can look at how many days are left in the year. And so I can do a little math and say, well, based on history, on your current customer base, here's how much you're going to get the rest of the year. Now, wait a minute. We didn't adjust this, but we do give you some flexibility here. If you think business is going to be going up or down, I could have entered a percentage. If I think business is going to be going up, maybe 3% or down 4%, I could have entered that number here in the setup of this, and then this number would have been adjusted. But basically, there's no adjustment to be made. So the system thinks, hey, I'm going to get another 688,000 gallons by the end of the year. All right, so now we have two pretty important numbers, right? We know how much you've done so far, and we know what we think based on history, what you think you're going to get the rest of the year. So the last piece is really what's in my pipeline, right? What more business do I think I'm going to get? So we look at your pipeline and we look at prorated volume. So my pipeline probably has a lot more than 74,000 gallons in it. However, based on my fiscal year and when these opportunities are going to close, here's how much I think I'm going to get out of that. But wait a minute, we only win about 60% of our business. So 60% of our opportunities are wins, and that's based on historical data, right, from your CRM. So now what's truly in my pipeline is only about 44,000, so almost 45 more thousand gallons is what I think I'm going to get. So now I have three pretty important numbers, right? I have actuals, what I think I'm going to get the rest of the year, and what I think I'm going to get on my pipeline. And now I have my goal. So here's my goal for the year. And here's that projection, those three numbers up above added up. So my gap is the 229,000. So I've achieved about 84% of my goal. So I'm actually feeling pretty good here. That's not bad. So let's take a look at the rest of the numbers then. So now we're getting down to the meat. So based on this gap, and the fact that there's only about 7 months left in the year, I really need to get about 400,000 gallons in my pipeline because, again, I only have like 7 months to work with. But wait a minute, more information. Because I only win 60% of my opportunities, I really need about this many gallons in my pipeline. And we look back historically at your average deal size. So when you win an opportunity, how big are those wins? They're about that size. So based on all this data, your whole lubricants department needs 271 more opportunities to be added to your pipeline. So this is telling me, hey, when I meet with the lubricant sales team, this is some information I may want to share with them, saying, hey, we've got to build up our pipeline, right? We've got to go for more new business, more share of wallet business, but we can't sit and think that we're going to hit our goal based on how things look today. We need to get some more opportunities here. So I think you could do that information. You could scrunch these numbers for a particular salesperson. Again, that'd be a great tool for that individual to use, or as a manager to coach that person, to tell them what to focus on. Again, I could look at this overall for the company, but this is just a great way to help find where you're at as far as hitting your goals. So that's it. This is just a feature. This gap to goal feature comes standard with our CRM for oil and gas products. And again, if you wanted to reach out to Jean for a demonstration, feel free to reach out to her to learn more. Thanks so much for listening. Have a great day.